Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Yes Alumni webinar on motivating youth volunteers. I'm so excited to see you all chatting already in the chat box. I hope that you continue to do that throughout the webinar to ask any questions that you have and to interact with each other and with the speakers. That's always really great. As we get started, please take the time to answer the polls and to put your mark on the map so that we know where you're joining from. We're very excited to have you all with us today, and we're especially glad to welcome our speaker, Olga Elisa, who is the program specialist for Do Something Indonesia, where she motivates youth to take part in online social action projects. Today, she'll share her tips for motivating others and conducting volunteer projects without a budget. We're also joined by Yes alumni Nazrin Ariffin and Hanan Anwar from Malaysia. They will discuss the recent SoundsGood concert event that they ran, which brought local NGOs and artists together to encourage youth to get involved in community service. I think we'll have a lot to learn from all of them. So please continue to write in the chat box to ask questions there. And also, just so you know, we are recording the webinar so that you can reference it later. It will be available on the YES website under Alumni Resources. And without further ado, I'm going to hand the webinar over to Olga, and she'll get started with her presentation.
Okay, thank you, Bethany. Hi all. I know all of us are coming from different time zones. As for me in Indonesia, it's already 8 p.m. So I'm just gonna greet you by saying hello all. And I would love to say thank you to Yes, especially for Beth for kind of finding me and also inviting me to be able to be here today and meet you all. And I wish that by the end of this session, I won't be the only one who's going to be sharing my story, but I hope I can also get great insight from all of you guys, as I heard many, many great things about you all. So, beforehand, I would love to introduce myself. My name is Olga Elisa. You can call me Olga. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. And right now, I'm currently working as a program specialist for Do Something Indonesia. And on the other side, I'm also a freelance photographer and a content writer. You can see some of my work on my personal websites on olgaelisa.com or my Instagram account at elisaolga. So today, as you already knew, I'm gonna be sharing about motivating youth volunteers, and perhaps I'm just gonna start with what I'm doing right now with Do Something Indonesia. So basically, Do Something Indonesia is a digital platform to motivate young people to take action and positive movement through various issues. You can also check on www.dosomethingindonesia.org right now. And it's actually a global movement and headquartered in New York, US, and the first and the only program occurred in Asia is in Indonesia under YCAP Foundation. YCAP Foundation is actually an NGO focusing in youth development. So I've been in charge of Do Something Indonesia since 2015, as we also did relaunch the platform and the whole strategy. So this project at the first place simply made me fall in love because to me the concept itself is very brilliant. It combines two most powerful things in this world nowadays, which are youth and digital, to do support the social movement. So I know some of you have been always passionate in social movement, and I know that there are a lot of young people have willingness to do it, but sometimes the problem is they just don't know how and where they can do it. So Do Something basically accommodates those who have willingness to be a part of the change to the social movement, simply just from where they are and using technology and digital platform. So to get you more into the ground, I will show you the example of our campaign. We ran Cool Without Smoking campaign. It's a petition project to celebrate World Anti-Tobacco Day, and we collected hundreds of petitions to prevent smoking habit. So you can see some of the submissions here. And the other one is Temanku Hebat. It's in English is my inspiring friend. It's actually a campaign to tackle low self-esteem cases by spreading positive appreciation to friends through social media. The idea is actually almost all of young people are now avid social media users. Yet there are still a lot of negativity found on social media, but then knowing that social media is very powerful, so why don't just we use it for positivity? So now let's talk further about young people and positivity itself. I do believe that young people is actually very powerful. So instead of wasting your power, your energy to negativity, why don't just we drive it to positivity? And this is maybe sound cliche, but the quote, everyone can be a change maker, perhaps true, but the real question is actually, will you? Then, here comes the how. The first thing that you need to think about is just, you need to take a look around. It is very important to start something that is really, really problem, so your movement can be a problem solver. And then you can start from the things that is within the range of your capability and expertise. And the most important one, it always starts with you. So just don't wait. Being the initiator, just actually, why not? So how to start one? The first one is, it is very important to start something with love. So you can create something started from things that you've been passionate and concerned about. And the second one is, you have to make sure that you do observing the issue and the trend in your society, because this one is to make sure that what you do is impactful and solving the problem, and it has to be relevant. And last but not least, try to think out of the box, because there are so many positive movement out there, and it just needs to be good and unique so that people can notice and be interested with you and your movement. Then, once you're ready with your movement, you need to create your troops, right? So how to find people who are interested in your movement? Well, actually, for every social movement, it will always be like a natural selection, I believe. So at the end, it will always be their call. Only the serious who will loyally walk with us. So no need to worry, because however, I always believe that quality always wins over quantity. So the second one, you can do team up with other communities which share the same visions and values as yours. This can mutually strengthen each of you. And also you can team up with influencers, saying like activists, to spread your movement, as we know that they normally have large numbers of followers. So the next thing is how to motivate and engage them afterward. So you need to always keep them in the loop. That's the key. So you can keep your communication, you can do regular meeting, involve them to build something within your movement, like new ideas for the next strategy. And then you can also use technology for creating chat room, also forum to communicate. And yeah, it's important to always keep them updated with your movement. And the second one is spread your story, because somehow people always love story. And I think do not hesitate to share a movement story on your social media or blog. And your volunteers can also share their stories too about volunteering experience, so people will notice about your movement. Okay, now we're talking about zero budget. So this topic was unplanned, at the first place, but then I told Belle that I'm actually running zero budget with Do Something Indonesia, and turned out she told me that budget limitation often becomes obstacle for your social movement. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Actually, you can always do it even if there's no budget at all. So the first key is strengthen your community. We really have to appreciate them and involve their idea for your movement activities because, they are your organic buzzers. They're gonna talk about your movement to other people, and you can do appreciate them. And it has to be it doesn't have to be involved money. You can give appreciation like recognition or something like shout out on your website or social media. It will be very valuable for them. And the second one is build a strong networking and do a collaboration. This is very, very important. For example, Do Something Indonesia is right now running a campaign collaborating with a local magazine. So we both buzz the campaign together, and the selected submissions from our volunteers will be featured on the magazine. So yeah, it's such a win-win solution, and the volunteers also get the recognition from the magazine also. So we just need to make sure that our partner share the same vision and target. The next thing is take advantage of technology. This is very important nowadays. Like I'm pretty sure that all of you are right now technology savvy. So we can optimize technology to help and support your movement. And yeah, we'll talk further about this on the next chapter. So last but not least, be creative. This might sound cliche again, but this is very a good quote. Uh, Embracing the limitation can actually drive creativity. So just don't worry with the zero budget. So how can technology help you? First, this is very important, but we often miss it. It can help you to conduct research. This is very important in order to make sure that your movement will be really impactful. Do the research and survey about the problem, solution, and also the best call to action for your movement. You can use some free platform like Google Forms to create online survey, and you can share the link on your target responders, and it's free. You can use social media, and it's very simple. You just need to put all your questions, then it will be like a digital online questionnaire. Just check it. And the second one, you can raise awareness about your movement. You can use social media, as most people now are using it. It's very powerful. You just need to be able to put the right content because each platform has different function and strength. For example, if you want to share a long story about your movement, you can use blog. But if you just need to post quick event updates, you better use Twitter. The next is you can also build communication using technology, either one way or two way. You can do interaction through social media channels or using group chat or forum and also the conventional mailing list. So actually, you can run your movement even with zero budget. So networking and engagement are the keys, and you can always use technology to support your movement. Just be creative and try to be always innovative. Well, that's all that I can share for today. I hope it will give you some new insight. You guys can always reach me to my email on olgaelisa@ymail.com or my Instagram account at elisaolga. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hi, Olga. Thank you so much for sharing. I think you gave a lot of really awesome and important information. I want to give
Thank
everybody
you.
a few minutes to write some questions that they might have for you.
Okay.
And it looks like KWM has the first question, which is, how do you usually measure the success of a project?
Okay. how to measure. Actually, when we're talking about measurement, we really need to know what is actually our target is. For Do Something, our target is actually member acquisition. So we do maintain a report about our member acquisition, the numbers of our members, the numbers of our social media followers, and we also analyze how our event how well our event went. So I think it will be depend on what's your target. As for Do Something, it's member acquisition. So yeah, we can track it. Is there any other question?
I actually have a question. Can you talk a little bit more about the kinds of campaigns that Do Something Indonesia can run online? I think that sometimes it's difficult for alumni to all come together in one place. Transportation can be very expensive. So maybe
Mhm.
doing some online volunteer work would be interesting for them. Could you give them some ideas about different campaigns they could run?
Okay. So basically, the idea of Do Something is you can do your social movement anytime, anywhere, any cause. So this not no car, this not no money at all. You can just do this positive activity in your own place. For example, we did run like blood donation, but for most of blood donation, they need to gather at one place and then donate their blood there. But in Do Something, that's not how it works. So you can do blood donation in every hospital in your the nearest hospital in your city, and then how to prove it, you can just send the pic and then upload it to our website. So that's the way it works. So you can do all the positive activity just from where you are, and we just need your proof by sending us the picture. And to influence other, you need to post the pictures also on social media. So it also can raise awareness for other people that didn't know about our movement before. So yeah, it's actually very, very simple, yet also you can do it anywhere, anytime. Oh,
I
okay.
love that
How can we
idea
use
that,
social?
oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, this is Johan. Johan saying, how can we use social media to make a project sustainable? The thing is, social media is not a rigid stuff, so it always grows. So we really need to adapt and then catching up with the update. So the key to make the project sustainable is we really need to read the trend. What's the trend in social media? What's the trend in society? And we really need to read our targets, like what is our target's favorite thing to do, or what are what they are like to share. So yeah, we need to adapt and keep innovate.
Have any suggestions for how they can go about reading the trend? I think that is really important to
Okay.
do projects that people are interested in, but do you have tips for that?
Okay. We can always do desktop research and do a rough observation. Just for example, in Indonesia right now, there has been a shifting from Twitter to Instagram. So when like 2 hours at 2 years ago, it's like Twitter is be like a king on social media, but right now people are gradually moving to Instagram. So that's the thing. So the movement which were very popular on Twitter right now migrated to Instagram. So that's the way how we can make our movement sustain on social media. We really have to ready for the new trend and for the new platform to to be adapted.
Great. And there was another question. Christine said that you mentioned that saying thank you is one way to keep volunteers motivated. What are some other
Uh-huh.
ways to keep volunteers involved?
Okay, to make volunteers involved is actually to create their sense of belonging in our movement. Simply by you can involve them into building a new idea for your project. And I always believe that you really have to consider them as your real friend. So that's the way you can build a good relationship and good communication with your volunteers, and it will somehow keep them attached with your movement. Is it enough, or there's something more you need to know?
Yes, a new question. Can you please say which is the best social media to promote a project or to send a social message to your community?
Okay, it will actually depend on what's your kind of movement as for Do Something, because we're so visual. Just like what I said, you can do all of your activity offline, but we need your picture as the proof that you have already done your campaign. So to be honest, the Something in Asia are using Instagram more than other platforms. But actually, I think all of social media platform has its own function and strength. For example, if you want to write story about your volunteering activity, you can use blog. And if you want to just make a quick update about your event, you can use Twitter. And if you want to make updates about your pictures and documentary, you can use Instagram. So it can be used all of them, just based on what's your need and also what kind of content that you want to post.
Great. I think it's so important to know which social media platforms are best to use for which kinds of updates, and I had never really thought about that before, so thank you for sharing that. And one last question, which is coming from Emmeline, is do you have any suggestions for some creative ways to raise funds? Because even though a lot of projects that you do don't require a budget, a lot that they do. Do you have any tips for that?
I don't know for the other countries, but right now in Indonesia, it's very popular to have digital fundraising. So we have so many websites, so many communities that actually serve this digital crowdfunding. So I don't know, is there perhaps some kind of websites in your country, but it's very, very effective because it's very low budget. You can do digital crowdfunding, like spreading it to the whole netizen and internet, and it's very simple and easy.
Wonderful. Thank you again so much, Olga, for sharing all of your advice. We really appreciate it, and I think that it was really helpful. Hopefully, all of you alumni will find it helpful as well. And now we are going to get another alumni perspective. Hanan and Nazrin are joining us from Malaysia and are going to tell us about a project that they did to help motivate volunteers.
Hi there, I'm Hanan and I'm from Malaysia, and I was part of SoundsGood, which is an event that we had in Malaysia. I'm also here with my friend Nazrin, but I don't think he's gonna have his webcam on. Okay, so before that, I'd just like to say that yesterday, I was speaking to Olga about it. Yesterday, I was stalking her Instagram, and I was also stalking Do Something Indonesia's Instagram. They're amazing. So we have, it's such an inspiration, and we have such big steps to follow. So Nazrin is here, so we'll say hi to him and get started with Sounds Good.
So, okay, hi everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nazrin Ariffin. I was one of the alumni for the YES program in the year 2010. So today, me and Hanan, my friend, we will talk a little bit about our project that we did in February, which is the Sounds Good concert. So anyway, first and foremost, I would like to share about what Sounds Good is all about. Sounds Good is a free concert that showcases local independent musicians and also a medium to spread spirit of volunteerism by exposing the audience to multiple NGOs and their projects. So during Sounds Good, local artists and bands were invited to perform, and also NGOs. On the other hand, the NGOs that joined this event, they opened their own booth to promote their organization projects and also to attract people to join them as volunteer. So the NGOs were also given a chance to talk about their causes in between performances. And during after the concert, a few weeks after the concert, Sounds Good collaborated with a few NGOs such as Imaret, Epic Homes, Food Aid, Free Market, and Small Changes to run a flood relief project in Dabong. Dabong is a rural area in Kelantan that was affected badly during the flood disaster that happened in that region in late 2014. So anyway, the collaboration has brought volunteers from all sorts of field to help run the projects. There are doctors, students, architects, and even musicians who join. So teams would form and people were assigned to specific jobs for the flood relief project. A house was built by the building team for a family who had entirely lost their home. Other teams were assigned to go to specific rural settlements to provide medical aid and also to go to the school to give motivation and food aid to the students that got affected during the flood disaster. So it was a huge success and it was not just a one-man show. It was a brilliant teamwork done by all the organizations that collaborated for this project. So next is I would like to share the vision and objective of Sounds Good. Okay. So the vision of Sounds Good is to promote undiscovered music and also to spread the spirit of volunteerism by using music as the main medium. And the objectives are to present musical talents from the local independent scene, to create awareness about volunteerism, and also to provide a platform to spread information about volunteering opportunities. So these are a few pictures during the event. As you can see, there are two pictures of two persons without having any musical instruments. Those are the representatives from their NGOs. So they were given a chance to talk about their NGOs, their causes, and their projects. So yeah. And how Sounds Good started. So yeah, it was my idea. I was actively involved with Yes Alumni Malaysia, and I thought that the organization did a very great job of exposing the alumni to the world of volunteering. But then sometimes I think it was quite dull at times because it was always about doing volunteering work and giving back, and there was I think less fun in doing it. So during Think Tank, which is an event that Yes Alumni organize every year, it's an event where we share ideas on what we want to do and what we can do. So anyway, during Think Tank, I came up with this idea of combining music and volunteerism together. So I thought that combining music and volunteerism is one of the effective solutions to attract youth nowadays. And from there, so yeah, it was an idea. And from there, we gathered a group of individuals with different skill sets and similar goals. Then we formed a committee, and from there we did our research and everything, and we talked to the US Embassy of Kuala Lumpur because that's where we get our big fund from. So that's where we got our funding, and also we approached a few potential sponsors that can sponsor us for the event. And after that, we partner up with a few NGOs and also artists, and also people from people who provide the venue. And from there, when everything is settled, we reach out to the media through online and also printing, which Hanan will explain later. And next, it's just be open to any possibilities. So the team that joined SoundsGood is us, the organizing committee, the volunteers that we get, mostly from Yes Alumni Malaysia, the NGOs, the bands that we're invited, and also concert professionals such as people who are doing the staging, lighting, sound system, and everything. So I'm gonna.
Hello everyone. So I will be talking about social media. I would say that most of the things that I'm going to speak about had a lot to do with what Olga was talking about just now. So one of the things that we knew at the early stages of planning SoundsGood was the importance of social media. We knew that if we wanted people to come to our event, and if we wanted to set a platform for NGOs or any like volunteering opportunities, we needed the power of social media. So for SoundsGood, we had two social media platforms that we focused on, which was Facebook and also Twitter. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that we did in managing our social media. So first of all, it's to create social media accounts. There are plenty of social media websites that you can use. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and many more that would be very efficient in distributing your information. But for it also, how effective it is also depends on what kind of social media your community is surrounded with. For example, in Malaysia, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram would be the most famous ones. We did not use Instagram to promote our concert because it was a bit too much for us to handle with the manpower that we have. So we focused on Facebook and Twitter. These different social media sites have different advantages to it. For example, Facebook is a more gives a more comprehensive exposure to our concert. Like you would know the objectives, what's going on. You can post pictures, post updates and information about your partners or bands that are performing for the concert. And Twitter is more of a a way to connect with people who are maybe not on Facebook. And Instagram is also a good thing to get promotion because it's very, very popular right now. So the next thing after creating a social media account would be, because we were amateurs and we didn't have any professional help in social media or promotion, we sort of used our own personal circles to begin the first part of promotion. So we asked our friends to like our page, and hopefully they would invite other people to join, and the circle and the cycle continues. And for Twitter, most official Twitter accounts would have limited following. They wouldn't follow much because they would have more followers. But our strategy was to just follow any potential people who would come to our event and maybe who would like our tweets and retweet them so that other people um, would would retweet us and other people would get the information. So following people before they follow you is also like not a bad thing. That's also an option. So our strategy for our postings would be maybe 1 to 2 months before the concert, we would post more things. One post per day would be sufficient, but it should be at a time where a lot of people are online, maybe around dinner time or lunchtime, or right about the time people get up and before they go to work or go to school. Tweets would be the same thing too. But for tweets, it could be like it's not good to have like 20 tweets per hour. Like it should be like distributed throughout the day. It would be really great if that would happen. So with all these different social media sites and all these like hours and timings of postings, it can be a bit tough. So we use a social media manager app, and for us we use Hootsuite. You can get this for free. It has also a paid version, but the free sample version is manageable and does help in managing these accounts. For example, you can just spend 2 to 3 hours on the weekend to set up tweets or Facebook postings throughout the whole week, so you don't really have to like live post or live tweet. So that comes in really handy. Another thing that I would say helped us a lot was collaborating with partners on event promotion and using their social media pages by by reaching out to them and asking for them to help us promote our event which they are involved in. It sort of attracts a different pool of audience. So that's great in attracting more people to come to your event and to share whatever that you have for yours. And a very good a very good thing that we learned from this Sounds Good experience is to definitely start early so that you can build an audience before you start promotion. Okay, besides social media, another thing that you can do to promote your event is to go to the news. For example, like newspapers or magazines, or it doesn't have to be print media, it can also be online media. We had the opportunity to be featured on one of a local English printed newspaper called The Star, and the Star newspaper has a section catered to youth, so that was perfect for our event. And we were very lucky to be featured on the Star Rage. They published our story on like our concert and what were our objectives, and they also promoted some of their partners, non-governmental organizations, and what they advocated for. So that was good for us and also our partners, and also to attract people. Time Out KL is I would say it is a website to promote events around Kuala Lumpur. So it posted our story and our event and invited people to come to our concert. And another one would be Daily Seni. Seni means art. So it's a website catered to it publishes stories on art, so like what's going on in the art world. So because we're a concert, they also feature our story. So always look for opportunities, and also be specific. Like you can always get media who are like cater to specific things like youth programs or art, and hopefully they will like feature and help you out. Okay, so these are the partners that we collaborated with, and Nazrin is going to speak about that in a while.
So these are the partners that, or I can say the NGOs that we've collaborated with. The first one is Imam Response and Relief Team, which is IMARET. They are a group of doctors who form this organization to help to respond to become a response and relief team if any natural disaster happen. Next is the Nasi Lemak Project, or TNLP. Uh, these are an NGO that helps homeless people, and they give them motivation, food aid, and so on. Third is Change Your World. Change Your World is an organization, a very young organization that also acts the same as the Nasi Lemak Project. They help motivating people, they help do fundraising, and all other stuff. Uh, I'm sorry, just now I was saying about small changes. Next is Change Your World. Change Your World is an organization that focuses more on human trafficking. They did a lot of projects to raise awareness about human trafficking and other related issues. We also collaborated with a few NGOs that is not mentioned in these slides, such as Epic Homes. Epic Homes is the organization that helps that collaborated with us and also Imaret to do the house that we did in Kelantan. So Hanan will explain a little bit about the approaching partnership.
So partners were very important for our Sounds Good concert. So what were the steps that we took in order to get connected with these partners to enhance our Sounds Good concert even more? So first of all, we did some research on possible partners or possible partners, for example, any organizations, non-governmental, governmental, an enterprise, anything which you're interested in, and they will always like have causes, and you can like call them up or send an email or get connected through their websites and just meet up with them. So you find these people or groups who have similar goals to you, because after you like make your research, you would know like who are these people that you are interested to work with. After you have located these people or groups with common goals, reach out, connect, and meet with them. And always be open and welcoming to people who have heard about your activities and want to do something with you. Okay, so these were some of the benefits that we got from partnering up with people. For example, enlarging network and creating opportunities. Now the top picture is that's a group of young dancers that we got in touch with, and they perform as our opening act and also like a mid interception during the concert. And we got in touch with them because of one of our partners called the Nasi Lemak Project. And like these boys, they're called these dancers. They're actually a result of another program that the Nasi Lemak project was exposed to. And so it's very good to get in touch with partners and see what they can offer you. And this just happened. This just happened. We didn't plan it or anything, so that's a good thing. Another thing, another benefit of partnering up with somebody else is to learn from them. Before this, all of us in the Sounds Good committee, we actually have no knowledge about organizing a concert or like organizing an event this big. But before, because we partner up with Change Your World, they sort of have a similar goal as us. They would like to promote their advocacies, but through art, so like theater, music, anything like that. So they have experience in organizing concerts and also promoting an advocacy. So we talked to them and we learn about how to organize a concert. They give us a lot of tips. And if you see in the second picture, that's actually a picture of a band that performed at our concert. This band is actually associated with Change Your World, and this was the result of us communicating with Change Your World, and then they offered this band called Relent to perform at our concert without any pay. So that was good of them. Another thing is also to expand ideas. That's a very good benefit of having a partnership. Before this, we just wanted to have artists and bands perform and have booths outside, and we thought that would be enough to spread volunteerism. But after meeting up with Change Your World, they gave us the idea of actually having the NGOs, the organizations, to speak in between the performances, so that audiences will be able to hear all their advocacies and their activities and all about and the NGOs are able to talk about their organizations. So that's good too. And the last benefit I'm going to talk about is that partners might have something to offer. In the last picture, that's actually a picture of a project that was held after the concert by Imaret, our main partner. They actually came to us and they offered to collaborate with us because they wanted to recruit people for their project. So this became the main project that we helped out with for the concert.
So I'll be talking about impact, sustainability, and also the future. For the impact, during the event itself, almost 400 people came, and we didn't really expect that. It shows that the marketing strategy that we used did work out. So an NGO, which Hanan said just now, Imaret, reached out to us and suggested to collaborate with them because they think that exposing their NGO to youth events like what we did was really a brilliant idea. And also the open mic session that we did during the concert really was like an opening door for some of the new acts as they get exposure and also recognition from the audiences. People who came to the concert are now aware of the existing NGOs and also their causes. So I can say that the objective of the concert have met. In terms of sustainability, we did a flood relief project, just like what I've mentioned just now, with Imaret, Epic Homes, Food Aid, Sexan Designs, and also small changes. The flood relief project was one of the efforts that we did to maintain the continuity of SoundsGood. So it's not just the concert itself, there's also a project after the concert. Anyway, the project was a huge success. And after that, we managed to maintain contact with all the NGOs that we've collaborated with, which I think this is vital, because in the future you don't know. I mean, like, you might want to do something else, and you might also need their specialties, and also you might also want to collaborate with them again. So yeah, from that point until now, we've helped them to share all their activities through our social media. Yep, and for the future, I am happy to tell you guys that we are planning to do Sounds Good 2.0, or maybe we can call it Sounds Too Good. So yeah, it's we are planning. I mean, like, the planning starts now, and we might be doing it mid-year 2016. So anyway, here are the pictures of the flood relief projects. As you can see that, yeah, there are a lot of young volunteers that came and helped to build the house. And just like what I said, other teams went to the rural area to provide medical aid, and also the other teams went to the school to entertain the children and also give motivation to them. So these are the pictures that can conclude what happened during the flood relief projects. And the house was simple. It's just I can say that it's a DIY house, but we managed to finish the house in just if I'm not mistaken, 4 days. And these are the results. It's a village house. It's made out of the foundation are made of steel and concrete, and the walls are made from wood. So yeah. So Hanan will be talking a little bit about Yes Alumni Malaysia.
I'm just going to briefly go through some of the things that we do in Malaysia for Yes Alumni to keep people active and to keep volunteers coming. So we have like 4 types of things that we actively work on, which are orientation programs, selection camps, and post-return programs, which are required for people to go on the program. And then we have some gatherings and networking projects, and also brainstorming and training sessions, which is also like Yes Think Tank is something that gave birth to Sounds Good. And the last thing that we actually do in Yes Alumni Malaysia is community service. And because of all these activities, we get a strong alumni support in Malaysia. So because people are active and people get to do more stuff and see more people. So yeah, I think that's about it, and we can go to questions now, right, Bethany?
Thank you. Hanan, actually, before we move on to questions, I'm just seeing so many really amazing community service activities, and I really like the brainstorming and training that you do with Yes Alumni Malaysia, and I'm just wondering how you get the word out to all of the alumni and how you get everyone to stay involved, because I know that can be difficult.
Oh, okay. So I think how we get people involved is we are very active in posting upcoming activities on our Facebook account, and we create events. And I think what we do is in every batch of the Yes Alumni, there will be like one contact person, and it would like tell their friends, because people would always like to go to things that their friends go to. So I think it's good to like reach out to people, different groups of people. But Facebook is definitely the main way that we reach out to people and get people active and volunteer.
Great. And while you're on this slide, I see a question from Christine who's asking about, can you talk more about what the brainstorming is?
Oh, right. Okay. Brainstorming is we gather Yes alumni from Malaysia, and we do some trainings and some sessions that would facilitate ideas. Like every year, we would do a Yes conference. A Yes conference is where we would go maybe like outside of the central area, and we would spend a weekend to think about community service and to train people on how to organize community service projects. And also, yes, think tank is also something that we do every year, where we would
Hanan, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm not sure if anyone else is, but Nazrin, could you maybe fill in and take over? Can you talk a little bit more about the think tank?
Yeah, sure. So just like what Hanan said, Think Tank is a yearly event that we do. In Think Tank, we would gather for a day or two, some places, and we will brainstorm ideas to on what to do, what project that we would love to do next, and how to impact the community, how to make Alumni Malaysia strong, and also how to strengthen Alumni as an organization. So during Think Tank, we throw out a lot of ideas. Uh, so that everyone that went to that event will uh, know what to do, and will get exposed to all these ideas, and we can pick which idea is the best, and we from there we start a project. So yeah.
Thank you. That's so interesting. I think it's really great to all get together and use each other's ideas to come up with new ideas. One other question that Christine asked is, how many alumni did participated in the Sounds Good concert, and what were ways that you got the alumni to get involved in the concert?
So during Sounds Good, I think there are about I can say 20 alumni, alumni that join and volunteer for the event, and the other volunteers came from other organizations, and also just young people who would just love to volunteer. And how do we get them to join us, especially the alumni? Is that we promote it through our social media, through all the mediums that Hanan just said just now. And to be honest, most of the people from Alumni Malaysia are very active, and I think that's one of the key points that why Sounds Good is very successful. It's because that most of them are really eager to join every event. So that's a blessing that we get. So yes, Alumni Malaysia for me is a huge family with a strong bond. So yeah.
Wonderful. I'm going to see if anybody else has any other questions, but thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of Yes alumni associations feel similarly and have a really strong bond. It's pretty awesome. I see some of you are typing, so I'm going to let everybody, we'll wait until you are finished typing so we can see if you have other questions. I see a lot of you are answering the polls. Thank you. If you can go ahead and keep answering, we would appreciate hearing what you have to say. Also, it looks like our country poll got cleared. So if you, even if you answered earlier what country you're from, if you could please take a minute and answer again. Sorry about that. Thank you. If there are no other questions today, then I would really like to thank Hanan and Nazrin and Olga for sharing with us. They offered so much great advice. I feel like I've even learned a lot about how to help motivate others, and I hope that you all have too. So thank you all for joining us today. We'll leave the room open for a few more minutes so that you can answer the polls, and if you have any other questions that you think of, you can type them in the chat box. Otherwise, we will be posting the recording of this webinar, so not to worry if you joined late or if you want to share this webinar with other alumni in your network that were not able to attend today. It will be up on the yesprograms.org website probably later this afternoon, so in a few hours you can check and it will be there. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks everyone.